Tessa.
Thanks, Amanda. Hopefully this will be short and sweet. Next slide, Sally. Just starting with a bit of a reminder that with the new revamped website, next slide, Sally, please. With the revamped website, we actually have all of our technical guidance that's available through a searchable feature. So you can search by the type of guidance. So there we have guides and manuals, strategies and plans. We've got the how-to videos that were produced in V1. We've got SOPs that are there as well, training materials, reports, and we've got some of the WHO and SPC guiding documents that are available also there that are relevant to the Pacific. Not everything, just the most relevant documents. With any of the guidance that's produced by PacMOSSI, we are happy to provide this to you in Word or PowerPoint format so that you can edit it. For example, with field guides, you may want to adapt it to your approach to residual spraying, for example. You may want to brand it to get them printed off. So we're happy to share those files with you. Just send us an email through and we can get those to you. Please check back regularly for new documents. We generally don't want to spam you with lots of emails. So we do add these here. We used to send out big group emails that had all of the external publications that were coming through as well in scientific journals. We haven't been doing that recently. So actually it would be good to know from the audience if you thought we should restart this and do this maybe on a monthly or 2-monthly basis. Maybe we could have an indication if you thought that was useful in the chat. But yeah, in terms of circulating the information on the technical guidance we develop and key guidance from other partners, please check on the website. Next slide, please. Just a bit of a review. Some recent additions are the full insecticide resistance training package. So this was for the training that was held in Suva. We have the facilitator's guide. We also have some of the slides, a participant guide, all of the slides that we used and the SOPs as well. So if you do need to do any other onwards trainings, if this might be even useful in other regions for some of our international partners, then we could also share this with you. We've got publication that has recently come out about the Pacific Vector Network launch as well. It's available through the website. An ID key for adult mosquitoes in the Pacific has now been published and is also available. And we do put on packages of information like the personality profiling exercise that we ran through the mentorship program. We've put that all online, and that's because our mentors said, we love this and we'd like to be able to do this with our staff in the country. So we've provided that information online, and again, can send the editable files for that too. Next, please. In terms of what we're planning to develop in the next couple of years, we have already had this mentioned. There's a manual on program management that will guide, will be supporting with the online module. We're also developing at the moment a toolkit for Aedes vector control. This is for outbreak preparedness and response. And I know that SPC have that outbreak manual, but the information that's available there is related to all different diseases. A lot of it is quite surveillance focused. So we thought it might be useful to have a specific vector control toolkit that will be available to you. And I'll talk about that in a bit more detail shortly. We were thinking about developing a manual on house-to-house surveys and then the responses that you would do during those initial visits house-to-house. So that would then accompany the practical manual in 2025. And we're also looking at QIMR supporting development of a larval identification key. So this should be available, again, to support the training and possibly then finalized in 2026-27 using a lot of images that are coming from the various specimens that are being collected. Next, please. We don't just want to give big, thick documents. I know that these are seldom read page to page or front to cover, cover to back by people. So we thought it might be useful to take some of the more comprehensive reference material and develop some job aids. So with QIMR as well, we're looking at developing some very easy reference mosquito ID keys that you can possibly put up on the wall near the microscope or in your laboratory that would really help to cut down the time of leafing through the pages, but you can have those reference materials if you need that more detail in the background. We're looking at also developing that for not only adults, but also larval mosquitoes once that key is developed. Potentially looking at a larval control field guide. So we have the residual spraying guide that was developed and used in the training in Cairns. So we might look at an accompanying larval control field guide if there's interest in that. And then, of course, we're always open to your suggestions about what would be the most useful for you. So if you have any ideas about what could really help you with the efficiency of uptaking the guidance that's being developed through the consortium's experience, then please do let us know. Next, just quickly back to this toolkit. So this is what we're proposing to include in the toolkit at the moment. Any other suggestions would be great. I think we'll send out a draft of this for comments by not only the core partners, but some of our country representatives, just to see if it's useful to sort of ground test it as well. So we are looking at, obviously, the context, purpose, and audience for the toolkit, then looking at the different readiness and response stages and outlining some of the processes that are associated with those stages. And then most importantly, I think, is having in the annex a lot of these informational tools. So a checklist for vector control readiness and response, potentially activity and resource planning templates, a budget template, a case investigation form. And again, we don't want to be overlapping too much with what's in the outbreak manual for SPC, but I understand that's currently also under revision, and we'll make sure that there's continuity between those two documents. Potentially looking at an outbreak announcement, just a draft or an example for you that you could use or draw on or adapt. Situation reports for dengue outbreak, for example, key and supporting community messages for dengue outbreaks, and then a checklist for equitable, inclusive and safe vector control, which we would develop with the help of Professor Maxine. Next, please. And I think that's it. But again, any suggestions, any proposed new guidance, please just let us know and we will do what we can to meet your needs.